Hello, Professor. This is my extra credit submission for the last midterm we just took. I made a copy of the original midterm and redid my work to show what I did. So for question one, I made a pivot table that included that showed the sum of revenue for the last 10 years. And these are my the fields on the right side right here. With this pivot table, I showed the progression of the sum of revenue. So to answer the trend question, I chose the option of the 5 to 50% revenue increase. This seemed the most likely, the one that made most sense. For the highest revenue, we can see that 2016 had the highest revenue. And for the highest risk, I chose 2007 because if we take the sum of revenue and the sum of budget and we find the difference, which is the profit, 2007 has the lowest profit margins compared to the other years that were in this pivot table. And I felt that that means that in comparison to the other years, that would be the riskiest. For question two, I made another pivot table to show the top 5 production companies with the highest overall revenue over the last 10 years, right? So we had to include the years from 2016 to 2007. Those are 10 years. And I have, for the row labels, I had to click this button, click this option, to say top 10, and I take 5, right? So in order, it's Walt Disney, Universal, Paramount, Columbia, and Fox. You can see the sum of revenues in each, and these are in numerical order. I also have, the question also asks for the average popularity, cost, average cost, and the average revenue per movie, order them from highest to lowest. So I answered that here. For question 3, calculate the range and standard deviation of the nominations. For this question, I did not use a pivot table. Instead, I just used, for the range, I used the max function. And for the data set, I used the nominations column, and I subtracted it with the min. The max was there to find whatever the highest number was. We can see it's 108 nominations, which was the highest given. And the minimum was obviously 0. For standard deviation, I used the standard deviation function to, and I used the nominations column. For movies with 0 nominations, I used the count if function. And within the nominations column, I put 0 as my criteria. Total movies was 4,093, which I used the count function again. And for the percentage of movies that received 0 nominations, I just divided this cell with this cell, and I got 69.56%. For question 4, identify the top 3 production companies in terms of share of total overall revenue. So I made a pivot table here, and these are my fields on the right, rows of the production company. So originally, you would have all of the countries listed and with the sum of the revenue of each respective company, and you would come out with a grand total of $375 billion, right? But then I did the same trick I did earlier, which is a top 10, and I pressed 3 to show the top 3 production companies. Let's do that. So this is the sum of revenue that it came out to. And because we cannot, to find the percentage, we cannot use this total, we have to use the original total. The numbers came out to be 66% for the United States, 9% for United Kingdom, and 4% for Germany, Deutschland. For number 5, I used, for the correlation matrix, I took 6 columns with only numerical values. We could not use values with letters in them. And I copied and pasted all the columns onto a separate onto the sheet so that's side by side. And to make this table, I used data analysis, correlation. I don't know if you can see this right now, but I used the input ranges here and then the output ranges, pressed OK. And this came out, and I used the, it's all in white initially, but I used a conditional formatting option, color scales, and I pressed the first one to really make the correlation stand out. That is all. I put them all in the answer here, and I thank you for your time.